Hey y'all, today on this episode is with great sadness that I dedicate today's episode to the father-daughters that passed away up on Katahdin this past week. We're going to get into that just a little bit more here in just a little bit. I want to cover what's going on with the hikers that are on the trail, but before I do that, I would be a bad husband and a bad father if I didn't give a huge shout out to Trail Boss, my wife, and my daughter Mac, who are currently hiking in the Scottish Highlands in Scotland and for the week. So girls, if you see this, proud of you. Love the pictures you're sending back, and can't wait to hear all the stories when you get back in here. Now, let's move back across the big pond, talk about what's going on the Appalachian Trail. We've had our first summit of the season of folks that we're tracking, and as a matter of fact, it's the first summit of the season, and that's Rope Bunny. So Rope Bunny, he left Springer on February 2nd and got up to summited on June 2nd. So that is awesome. That is great timing. He actually, you'll recall that he had to stay at Shaw's for a week or so waiting on Katahdin to open up, and it opened up and he finished. So that is great. Conditions were cold and windy while they were up there. I think he said it was like 18 degrees wind chill. So anyway, congratulations to you, Rope Bunny. Thanks for all the updates that you sent us over the past couple weeks. And then we also had another summit person that we weren't tracking, but his folks sent that in anyway, and that was Jackson Mauser from Ohio. So he started, he was bag tag number 202. He started February 18th, and he finished June 7th. So congratulations to Jackson as well. That is awesome. I'm sure now that it's open, we're going to start having a lot. So folks, please send in your summits along with your picture. We'd also like to know what what your summit number was, the permit number was that they gave you there, just so that we can keep track of that. Whether you have been updating us this whole ride or not, please send those in. We want to celebrate your great accomplishment with you. So first folks we got up to bat here is Vango and Riley. They have made it to Roxylvania, and they are north of Pine Grove Furnace, which means they hadn't truly gotten in to the rocks yet. So I've been that far in Pennsylvania, and the rocks are not like they are up north yet, but I'm sure by now they are in there. They indicated they were in Virginia around Glasgow and the Blue Ridge Parkway, and they came down with some type of stomach bug, he said, for about a week. So that's, I don't know if that's noro or not, but usually with noro you can't hike, and because you got it coming out both ends. There's no pretty way to wrap a bow around it other than to say that. But that only lasts usually around 48 to 72 hours. So if he had it for a week, must have been something else. He also said the rain was tough to deal with in the shanties, and it has gotten very hot and humid again, which is also challenging, but he said both are healthy now and continuing on the trail. Tick Maggot, he is Nubbo through Vermud, and he says it has been definitely muddy. Says on top of that, the forecast is for 2.5 inches of rain. Presently it's pouring, and a bunch of us are holed up in the Green Mountain Hostel there in Manchester Center, Vermont. Said Vermont is not as well shaped as it is in the south. So I've done all of Vermont, and when I hike through there, you know, the trail doesn't drain well. For whatever reason, they don't dig drainage ditches like they do down here, and they don't put water bars. And of course, a lot of the places it's relatively flat in there, and so, but they don't dig the trail out, and so it tends to pond a bunch of water, which the dirt there is the type of dirt that's black, and black dirt for whatever reason just tends to get really sticky, gummy. I don't know, but and of course it gets run over a lot too by hikers traipsing through it, and so they don't call it Vermud for nothing. But part of that is just the drainage up there just seems to be really bad. But he said there are tons of places where the water just stands and doesn't drain away. He sends in his update.
Ramdino, it's Tick Magnet here. I'm up in Vermont at mile 1638, not too far south of I guess it's Vermont Route 30 or 11 or something, going into Manchester Center. Continuing on with my northward hike towards Maine. This past week has seeing the trail totally soaking wet, like beyond muddy. But at any rate, it goes on, and coming around, some of it's not so bad. The mosquitoes were horrendous in some places. We all had our bug nets on, but today it's better. The forecasts for today, tomorrow, and the next day were for like 2.5 to 3 inches of rain, but there was some overnight, but it hasn't materialized more. So at any rate, we're having a good time. Running water is also on the trail with me, coming the other way, but we'll check in later. At any rate, thanks for keeping us all in touch, informative of what's happening on the Appalachian Trail, and we appreciate all that. Thanks, Rambino.
Just like Tick Magnet got back on to finish his, so did Chopsticks and No Rush, and they sent in an update.
Hey Ramdino, it's No Rush and
Chopsticks,
and we're back on the trail. We're going to finish where what we didn't finish last year, where we got back on where Chopsticks fell and hurt his knee, and he actually had to have his knee replaced, and that was at Dennytown Road in New York. So we've been out for 3 days, and we're headed to Maine. See you down the trail.
later.
Let's roll.
Let's roll.
And Mongo and Jubilee, they have just gotten on trail, and they have hit their first 100 miles, and they are feeling fantastic. Hopefully after 100 miles you would be, right? But they sent in an update.
Hey Ramdino, it's Boundless Wander, and we are in the southern part of Pennsylvania.
We've been hiking, and we've been listening to cicadas.
It sounds like a siren.
They're everywhere, all over the trees. It's kind of nice. It's kind of annoying. Onward we go. Until next time, happy trails, y'all.
Alpha Gal and Metro and now G, they have made it to New Jersey, and so they say they've only got 899 miles to go. The mosquitoes are super swarming at Brink Road Shelter. They said it was total insanity. They sent in his update.
And here we are, countdown to Katahdin, 899 miles to go. Thanks Ramdino and everybody for following along. We are enthusiastic and happy to be out of those rocks in Pennsylvania, and we're on our way up to Sunfish Pond. Woo! Woo!
And the Kentucky Gas Boys, Papa Bear and Nature Beast, they have made it into the Green Mountains in Vermont, and they hope to enter the whites coming today. And then we got Tortoise and Hare. They have made it to Blacksburg the slow way, they say. You'll recall last week that Tortoise had his knee that he had gotten hurt, and he says it seems to be improving every day. And they want to give a shout out to Easy Boy, that was a viewer of this channel, but also Easy Boy and Molly for the trail magic that they gave him. So that's awesome. And then Sonny Jim, he checks in from Damascus with some of his family.
Hey there, Ramdino. It's Sonny Jim. I'm here with Four Squares. I'm here with Wizard, Chipmunk, the Spirit and Spirit Walker, the Spirit's the dog, and Papa Bean. We are having a wonderful time here in Damascus before we go off to dinner, and just want to let you know that everything's going great. We're all recovered from our illnesses, and we're hiking strong, and we're looking forward to getting back on trail tomorrow. So, you know, keep up the good work, and we'll chat with you all later.
And Luscious has made it to Mount Washington, and he had his whole family come up there and join him. So what a motley crew that was. Good to see that the family could come out and enjoy the highest peak up there. It looks like it was pretty chilly as well, but he sends in his video.
Hello Ramdino, Luscious here with friends and family who hiked up to meet me as I summit Mount Washington on my 50th birthday. I came in on the AT side trail, and they came up Ammonoosuc Ravine Trail, and we had a great time at Lakes of the Clouds Hut. Weather's beautiful up here. Thanks for everything you do. Talk to you next week.
And Straps, who updates us just about every week, he is actually off trail, but he sent us in an update from home anyway.
Hey Ramdino, it's Straps here. I'm actually back home. I got off trail yesterday. That's why I'm cleaned up a little bit. I made it to Jugs End Road in Mass yesterday. So hopefully that's where Boston and OG will meet me on Wednesday of next week, and we'll carry on like that. Thanks for what you do, and the trail's been better. It's got a lot warmer, but it's been better. So thanks, and see you back on trail next week.
And his hiking partners that he hopes to meet up within a week or so, OG in Boston, they have made it to Mount Bridge, New York. They send in their update.
Hey Randino, OG, Boston, you know where we're at. Trail's looking good. Got some rainy weather coming in, but we'll survive. Not a whole lot of through hikers out there, mostly section hikers and some flat flippers. Have a good week.
Rabbit checked in, said he is hitting New Hampshire tomorrow. Says Mount Killington there in Vermont had lots of blowdowns on it, particularly walking up the mountain on the north side. And he did say that northeastern Vermont also has a lot of overgrowth. So where you got overgrowth, it's bad enough you got mud in Vermont. Now you got all this overgrowth. Where you got overgrowth, you got ticks, right? Also, now we're into the bug season up there. So you folks in Vermont, I hope you are having a blast out there. And then Fancy Pants and the Monkey Crew. So Fancy Pants had gotten off trail, and she indicated at the time she was done, gotten all she needed out of it. Apparently not, and she is getting back on probably next week. So that's awesome to hear. Fancy Pants was one of those that was updating us every single week, and so she gives great trail updates about what's going on the trail and how she's doing and everything. So looking forward to receiving those back from them. So news on the trail. Of course, the sad news of the week is, and that is that Tim Keiderling, who's 58 and a father of 6, and his daughter Esther, who was 28, they passed away climbing Katahdin together. So I plan on putting together a little more detailed of what possibly happened up there and everything, and a little more detail later on. So if you're somebody out there that has some knowledge other than what's been reported already in the news, then I'd appreciate you contacting me and letting me know. But apparently they lit out there for the trail on June 1st, and after their car was seen overnight down in the overnight parking in the Baxter lot, then that alerted the rangers, and they immediately started putting together a search party to go look for them. Tim's body was found near the summit on June 3rd, and Esther's body was found at a lower elevation on the tablelands. So Tim was found in the tablelands there near the summit, and she was found down in a wooded area right near the tablelands. So probably what happened is that they were overcome by the conditions up there, the weather conditions. It got cold, it moved in, as you saw by Rope Bunny's picture. So Rope Bunny, he summited the day before, so that kind of gives you an indication of what the conditions may have been like as they were hiking up there. But hopefully I'll be able to cover more of that for you, and we'll do a little better deep dive on that later. But our hearts and prayers go out to the families of them out there, and this episode today is for them. Now moving on, we got Whispers. He's our northern correspondent. He says that all the AMC huts are open now for the summer with full service. So that means they've got their crews up there. You can stay there. Of course, you have to pay to stay there. But they do let through hikers come occasionally if they have space, do work for stay there. Of course, you don't get all the amenities that you do if you were paying to stay there, but if there's food left over, they'll feed you, and they'll give you a place out of the elements to stay. So in any case, they are open. Whispers also tells us that Canadian wildfires have the smoke from them is coming into the Whites and causing some intermittent places there where you just don't get as good of views as you normally do up there. And in extreme cases, it's actually causing some air quality warning. So, you know, hiking in the Whites is difficult as it is, but when you're breathing in soot, I can only imagine how much harder that is. And he said that's mainly air quality issues that are occurring at 3,000 feet above the 3,000 foot level. He sent in a couple pictures here that he took on the June 3rd and June 4th, which is interesting enough, the days that I just mentioned that they found the Keiderlings, and both of those were from Mount Guat and also facing Franconia Ridge. So appreciate that, Whispers. And then our Vermont Trail Angel correspondent, Spineless Cougar, he checks in for the first time this year. So he does trail magic at Nobo Mile 1684.3, as he indicates. And he has somebody that comes with him because he is legally blind. So he is all the time searching for somebody to come with him that can help when others can't help, to get him to the trail to do trail magic. So if you're interested in that, then leave me a comment down below, or better yet, contact me through one of the social media messenger apps or through email, and I'll get you two together. But in any case, he sends us his update for the first time. He said, of course, mud is so bad right now that hikers are saying just jump in head first and get it over with. And it can be bad there. He said there's been a lot of rain lately, and there's a lot more rain coming this week. Said the bugs are pretty bad so far. Temperatures have been unusually low, but it looks like it's going to get hot this coming week before cooling off the following week. So he takes down information, and you know, if the hikers will fill out his sheet, they're comfortable doing that, then he gives us some stats that are pretty interesting to see, particularly with pack weights and when people left and if they've had Noro, things like that. So far on his sheet this past week, he had 6 of those folks that were on the Appalachian Trail. He had 1 long trail person, and then the rest of them, of course, the long trail in that section shares the treadway with the Appalachian Trail. He had 6 Nobos and 2 flip-floppers. And their pack weights, their average pack weight was around 29.43. And so that's average, but if you have a really high, like he did this time, he had the largest was 41 and the smallest was 16.6. So that can kind of slew that average. So the median is really a better indication of what it was, and that was at 29.85, so just under 30 pounds. And that's for Nobos up there. So that kind of gives you an idea of they've been hiking with that weight all the way from Springer. And so typically people drop weight, so they must have started out a little higher than that when they were at Springer and have dropped weight since then. Of course, when they started out at Springer, they would have been starting out in cold weather, so they definitely dropped their cold weather weight. Including in those stats was truck driver. So he started Springer on January 1. He was bag tag number 10. And GQ and Owl, they started March 4th, and they were number 654 and 657 respectfully. So that kind of gives you an indication of how long it's taken somebody that starts at Springer, you know, what their number was to get up there to where he is in Vermud. And then we also now have picked up another correspondent, Sloggy, and so he is a trail maintainer, and he is from Baxter State Park through the 100-mile wilderness. So he's going to be updating us on Sobos and Nobos as they come through the Baxter and the 100-mile wilderness. And he sends us a video update.
I am back at the Katahdin Stream Campground where the trailhead for the hunt trail is. Vehicles over there. Glad to be back. It was really cold up top. I didn't see a single Sobo hiker today, but I talked to Nate, the ranger, over at the ranger station, and 21 people have signed in and headed south so far. 21 Sobos. A good day of hiking. Talk to you soon.
Sloggy, appreciate that. Look forward to all of your updates you're going to be sending us and all the information that you got. And welcome to the Correspondence Club, right? All right, and then officials with the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, they have closed Molly's Ridge Shelter. Now, all the Nobo, of course, are through the Smokies by now, but Sobo are coming through, flip-floppers may be coming through. That's at mile 178, and they closed it because they had reports that a bear stalked a hiker near the shelter and stole a hiker gear from the shelter, even after they were trying to scare it away. So this is now apparently an equipment condition, but a food conditioned bear, because they're not wanting your sleeping bag, they're not wanting your pack, they're wanting what's in it or what they perceive is in it because it's got food on it or the smells of food on it. Hikers should exercise caution in this area. Don't even go to the shelter. Don't take a break in the shelter. Definitely don't stay in that shelter, and that was Molly's Ridge Shelter. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the first shelter that you come to climbing up out of Fontana. So you're going to have to go a little further to the next shelter. And then the ATC has also received reports of a food conditioned bear at Bailey Gap Shelter, which is at Nobo mile 660.9. And that appears to be a young bear who stays close to the shelter and shows little fear of people despite folks yelling at him and throwing rocks and everything. So this is bear season. They're out there. You can go to the ATC's website. There's a bear reporting form there. If you see a bear, not just one walking in the woods, but if you have close contact with one, or one that you feel like is a danger, or definitely food condition around the shelter, please fill that out and let the ATC know so they can get the word out there. And then we got somebody that's called themselves as a trail angel up in around Grafton Notch. And when I say call themselves a shelter trail angel, I think they mean the best, but they're not going about it in the wrong way, and so they're actually giving hikers bad information, saying trails are closed, there's snow here, these shelters are closed, when in fact that's not the case. This person is a older female with a golden retriever with looks like a green tag on it. It may say service dog or something like that on it. There's no violence. I don't think she's a danger to anybody, but she's not giving out great information, and she has been causing issues up there that the parks no longer will allow trail magic in that area up there. So unfortunately that's ruined it for some trail angels out there who have, who are trying to get in there and do actual trail magic without causing some of that drama. So just be on the lookout for that person, and don't want to throw anything on her other than if she tells you something, maybe take it with a grain of salt. It may not be exactly accurate. And then practically every day, but multiple times a week, maybe 10 times a week, I get somebody wanting to collab with me on something, right? They want me to collab on their earbuds, or collab on pots and pans or something. Well, okay, if you watch this channel, somebody wanted me to collab on adult toys one time. Well, now somebody wants me to collab on an anime box. I don't even know what anime is. I had to look it up. It is not something that I intend on collabing on. And for you folks out there that, I don't know what you're watching, that the algorithm has driven somebody to think that my channel would be a good anime collaboration. But you folks need to know that God's watching y'all out there. So get off him anime channels. Folks, that's all I got this week. As always, appreciate you, and we hope to see you out here.